And we're back to learning Photoshop in a year, day 47. Let us go over the details of the crop tool. I unlock this image with a left click, and the crop tool can be found right here. Seize the short key, right click on the toolbox that's highlighted. So there are other tools, but the top one is the crop tool. You should get these markers on the edges and you can drag them around with a left click drag. This is only freely possible when you haven't set any default sizes. You can set a default size right here, for example, a ratio of 16:9, or you can use width and height, and then this is locked. Or when it's empty, so when there aren't any numbers, you can just freely drag this around. But now we have 5:7. You can only flip it if you go to a certain position to 7:5, and you can flip it right here as well with this double arrow. The W times H times resolution is width and height. You can use pixels here, for example, 500 times 300. And if you left click drag in the center, you can reposition the image. Obviously, you can flip this too. Under clear, you can return to the manual adjustment. So whenever you want to return to manual, you can do that here. Here's the grid layout. By default, you have the rule of thirds. If you want to use other ones, just left click here, pick them. And you can also choose auto show, always show, or never show, and cycle through the overlays. I like to keep the defaults, which is always show. And here are also some adjustments for the layout of this grid. For example, there's a classic mode. You can show the cropped area or not. I like to keep the defaults. Relatively important is the box next to it. So if we crop our image, let's say here, we'll confirm, then everything will be gone. So everything that was cropped out is now deleted. And if I reselect crop tool, you can see we get the checkerboard where the original image was. Let me confirm here again. And then I press Ctrl Z until we've arrived at the original right here. I use the crop tool again. This time I uncheck the box for delete crop pixels. I confirm. And now you can already see it takes a little bit longer. That's because the crop pixels are saved. So if I use the crop tool again, we can actually bring them back. By default, I believe it's checked. So if you don't want to have that, uncheck it. And then you can always bring back parts of your image. We press Ctrl Z here until we've arrived at the original yet again. And I show you the final drop down here, which says transparent default. And this means that whatever we expand beyond our image is now the checkerboard, so our transparent background. We can also use generative expanse or content aware fill. And these are the new AI solutions or labeled AI solutions in Photoshop. And you can use that to have Photoshop expand your images using AI and just painting over these transparent areas. Content aware fill usually does that quite well. It looks at the content of the original and it gives you what you need. And the other one is just a generative fill. I'm certainly going to make a video about generative fill, especially in the future in this playlist. But it's just the AI where you can prompt what you want to have in the area that's generated. And here's our result. You can see it has given us also a box here. Let me confirm. But you can see it has filled the transparent area according to what's there in the original image. If you just want to have a transparent background, use transparent defaults. The final one here is the straighten option. It's not the best image here to show you this, but sometimes you have an horizon in your image that's not fully straightened. And then you can use this option to rotate your image according to the line that you draw. Just activate the straighten option with the left click and then left click drag on your image to have this line. And if I make this an extreme angle, you can see what's happening in the background. It simply rotates the image and makes the line that you've drawn the new 0-degree horizon. Here on the top left, you will also find a couple of defaults. If you select them, you can see that this sets the aspect ratio yet again for your cropping tool. And this I can use the crop tool in Photoshop. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.